Hello, Chasing Good Gems here, and I just got a really cool box. I actually got two of these I ordered, which are Topps Series 1 Star Wars Galaxy cards from 1993. And I'm going to be opening one of these. Let me take a look, see which one's in better condition. Because I do want to keep a sealed. This one, actually, they're both kind of equal. I'll go with this one. Oh no, maybe I'll miss the card that was in that one. And then I have one box of the Series 2. I actually ordered a second one that's on the way. I think this came out, this is 92, 93, 94, I think, or it might be 93, 94, 94, but these are early 90s cards. This is Series 2. I do have another box in the way, so I can open that in the end. And this is Series 3. And I grew up a Star Wars fan. Before there was ever a Pokemon, I watched these movies ad nauseum on VHS, which I don't know if people are old enough to remember VHS. Yeah, so this is 93. Let's see. The third series is 95. I stand corrected. And the second series is 94. So 93, 94, 95 are the three series. And what's neat about these is, to me, these came out before it was sold. The whole galaxy, I guess, the whole idea was sold to Disney. So these cards are still in the old tradition of Star Wars. I really dig that. I wasn't a huge fan of the three newest films. I did enjoy Rogue One. Kind of hurts to open up cards this old. And I beg your pardon, but this is probably going to be a longer video because I'm going to sleeve everything. I'm a fanboy when it comes to this, so I want to take my time with this. Being so old and so interesting to me, I do plan on sleeving everything and then grading quite a bit of this. Like, that's ultimately my goal, is to send, I think I'm gonna go SGC on these just because these are art cards. So the art is kind of the main focus, and I think it'll be neat to have that tuxedo look, you know, the border for these. So that's gonna be my goal. I'm not gonna pop this thing open because I do, as a fanboy, want to keep this box in pretty good condition. So we have two, I think it was 36 packs. 4, 6. I have a lot of packs. These are definitely, you can tell the age of these, the condition of the foil, just how the foil's made. I set up these holsters in the back because I do plan, like, as I go, if something is particularly cool, once I sleeve it up, I can display it as we go through these cards. Like I said, this is probably going to be a longer video because I really dig the art on these, and I'm going to ooh and ah over these like a fanboy. So bear with me. But I hope you enjoyed as well. There are videos of people opening these on eBay and on the web, but there's really not as many of videos about this as there are like Pokemon and some of the other card sets. So I want to take my time with this. So pack one. See, I don't even really know how these things open, what the best way to open them is. I've heard sometimes they have a problem with sticking together. So I guess I'm going to go with the tried and true scissors method. Snip it very carefully as to avoid the cards. And let's go. So we have a, looks like Vader. Palpatine. From, is this, I think it's A New Hope. And also, so the artists that draw these are featured on the back, which I think is really cool. And partly the reason why, like, I think SGC slabs would just look really, really nice with this. Leia as a pinup. That actually, I'm going to keep that to the side because I think it's really neat. Ooh, that's really cool too. Return of the Jedi. And then this looks like a design of Yoda. That's really cool. These are really, really neat cards. when he got Vader. Before he was the actor for Vader was really chosen. So that's, like I said, bear with me. I'm going to sleeve everything. It'd be nice maybe if I do a second opening on a box of this, I'll get my lovely girlfriend or my brother or somebody to sleeve these as we go. But I think it's cool to sleeve them so people get an idea of just how careful I am with these, because I am very, very much wanting to get these graded. I do worry that with them being older cards, kind of like the Topps Pokemon cards, if you guys have had the pleasure of opening any of those Topps cards, there is a tendency for cards to stick together. I'm wondering if we're going to see that play out in these packs as well. I really, really like this Yoda. He is interesting looking. Kind of a little more of a cone head as a reference, I guess, to that old movie. It's a really neat card. You got the Vader's mask, Cloud City, Tauntaun, a little bit of the Battle of Hoth down there. The Art of Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back, which, in my humble opinion, is the best Star Wars movie. I don't, it's just so many scenes in there are just cinematically very pretty. And then you can't beat the fact, like, you know, Luke loses his hand, you find out who the father is, like, you know, spoilers for a very old movie there, if you haven't seen it. I apologize. You should probably take the time to pause this and go watch them. They are definitely worth your while. They're worth your time, and just culturally referenced again and again and again at this point, which is amazing. With, I think, A New Hope, released in, I think it was 77. Ooh, that's pretty. Oh, these are upside down. X-Wings. Oh my goodness, I can't think of his name now. That's the second-hand man on Tatooine with Jabba the Hutt, the Twi'lek. There again, nice little art card with C-3PO. Ooh, that one's pretty as well. Space Worm. This is such a cool scene when they try to outrun the Empire into the asteroid field, end up trying to take refuge on one of the asteroids and get chased by that worm. That's really cool. This is kind of like impressionistic looking card. Maybe made with the chalk. I'm not an artist. I don't know what it's called. And Mon Calamari people. Once again, like, I'm not going to take the time to go through every single one with you guys to look at these, because I feel like people are going to get very tired of looking at artist faces. But if you're a fanboy, which I definitely find myself being called that, it is really neat. If you don't want to spend the money, I lucked out and got these, I think, 2 for like 80. But the prices have risen in the past. These guys, when they weren't as popular, when cards weren't as popular as they are now, you could catch a box of this for like 20 bucks. But there's a lot of people who speculate on cards, right? They go out and they'll buy a set hoping that it would be worth a whole lot of money in the future. And, you know, with these cards, there's probably not as big a market as, say, like Pokemon or Magic or any of the other, you know, pretty developed card games. It's not a card game, it's just an art card. And there's a lot of them. There, you know, 3 sets of this and then umpteen million afterwards. And there's one I think just released in like 2019 that's a Galaxy set like this that has like really cool cards with it. But I digress. My point is, I think these probably aren't as valuable as some other cards. They're mainly just for enjoyment. And so I would suspect that a lot of people open these up looking to speculate and then realize, oh, I'm not going to be able to just flip these real easy. And you can find whole sets of this, at least the base set, for pretty cheap on eBay or your card buying platforms. So not saying don't buy a box if you want to go through it like I do. I want to open this up like I was when I was a kid, because I never got to open these as a kid. But if you know, you don't want the experience of opening them, that doesn't really mean much to you. Like, please, by all means, like look, because there's pretty good deals out there. I actually bought a complete base set of the same set, so I'll have a sealed box, this box that I opened for my fun, and then ooh, oh no, it's not. It doesn't say creatures. I think it's Spanish, Italian. That goes to show you my lack of knowledge when it comes to foreign languages. That's really cool. Italian movie poster. Chewy. Ah, that's the Mos Eisley Cantina scene. Ooh, that is Han looking amazing. This, so the new Boba Fett, story of Boba Fett, the Book of Fett, I think maybe, they eliminate Dengar from the storyline when it comes to, ooh, little booty, Boba Fett escaping the Sarlacc pit. And I've read some people really don't like that, and some people say it helped the storyline. When I was a kid, once again, I read a lot of the expanded universe stories. I remember reading, I believe I read the novel, or any set of novels where Boba Fett breaks free. I remember reading a novel that was like a collection, oh, not a novel, a collection of short stories, Speeder, where Boba Fett is sneaking into an Imperial base to get a bounty, to capture a bounty. And that stuff was, it was just so cool, because the older movies, there were so many characters, so many places that weren't fully fleshed out. And then there was an ability of other people, other writers, to grab hold of those stories and very much expand the universe and expand how stuff was shown and add a flavor to it. In fact, I actually worked at a newspaper once where, hold on, I'll show you something. Back when I was a younger man, I worked at a newspaper, and this novel is a collection of short stories from Jabba's palace. It's not in the best of condition, but it's a softback, and I've thumbed through it many, many times. But I actually worked with a writer from the newspaper. He was actually an editor on the copy desk, and he wrote a story in that. And to me, it was really cool. These guys that were able to just take a setting, take a character, and then expand on it. And as a kid, you know, I'd read these things, and I had read that when I was a child. So when I started working there, I kind of fanboyed out on the guy, and to him it wasn't a big deal, because I don't think he got paid all that much. You know, the Star Wars wasn't nearly as popular as it had been or would be going forward at certain times. But to me, it was like, oh my goodness, I'm getting to meet this guy who had written something that I read as a child. And that to me was just really neat. And so I guess what I'm trying to say is, I don't like that in some ways they took some things out of canon. Ooh, happy birthday. Took some things out of canon to create a storyline that I think is kind of subpar. Princess Leia. Got the Vader and then the helmet again, which is really neat. Carbonite. I don't remember the Carbonite having squares like that. I'll have to go back and take a look, because I don't remember that. So I got a checklist card, and I got a Lando card. That's not an art card, it's actually a character card. I did not realize that they had those. That's kind of neat. It's kind of a very almost 70s look with that washed out kind of portraiture there. It's kind of neat. And as the fanboy that I am claiming to be, I will even sleeve the dang checklist card, because everything's getting a sleeve. Everything's getting stuck in plastic, stuck in more plastic, and then hidden in boxes. Like a true hoarder. I'm sure you guys can relate. I'll say the only thing that I don't really hide away quite like that in plastic are, you know, I do some eBay sales, mainly Pokemon, only Pokemon up to this point. And then if I do play like a TCG, you know, I dabbled in Magic. My brother likes it, and I play the Pokemon trading card online, and I have dabbled in the tabletop, and so I have a couple decks of that. So I actually have, you know, like ETB boxes that just kind of have my design of Star Wars. That's actually really cool too. You're going to go in front of these guys that I have that I've dabbled in. They kind of have like the sideboard where if you're playing against somebody and they have certain cards, you can pull out cards to try and combat that. But all in all, if I'm doing it for collecting, it's a lot of squirreling stuff away. And I apologize, I can tell right now this is going to be a long video. Star Wars. This is the battle. I think that's going to be Obi-Wan and Vader. Obi-Wan and Vader. It's actually an artist card. And then we have indoor, you have your Ewok on a speeder bike. Ooh, that's a little Playboy Mansion-esque. R2-D2 and C-3PO. Is that... So that's a hut. It says 1980 art. That's supposed to be Jabba? Or is that... Jabba the Hutt seems them happy. Oh, okay, okay. Original arts for Jabba, which I guess did not end up being absolutely totally implemented. So we have a very European looking, in my opinion, or I don't know, looking Vader. You have, it looks, I'm not entirely sure who these characters are. It looks like adaptations. Checklist card again, and then Dengar and Boba. Or sorry, Dengar, yeah, and Boba. Almost to say Jango, but Jango would not be introduced until much later after these cards came out. I do intend to open, I will continue to, because it's my bread and butter. It's probably my number one love when it comes to cards is Pokemon. Like, don't get me wrong, like Pokemon, my Pokemon collecting will not be impeded by this. I still every day mail orders for stuff, send mail orders out for things people are buying, but I kind of wanted to mix it up. I've been debating on whether I have in the past, when I was very little, some, I believe they're Fleer metal Marvel cards. I might have like a Captain America and some, you know, lesser, actually a lot of them are like lesser known, less popular Merry Christmas characters, but they're really cool art cards that I had as a kid, and they're not in the best of condition because, you know, I was a kid, but, you know, that nostalgia, which is a hell of a drug, is when I see those for sale, the boxes, sometimes I start to think like, that'd be kind of cool to have in the collection. So I might expand a little bit and start purchasing some Marvel cards. Not entirely sure that that'll be like a new direction. I don't know if I'll actually open for a video a lot of those. Like, let me know if you'd be interested in that, because it does stray away from the Pokemon theme. But I think for my own personal collection, I'm definitely going to start purchasing some of those. Is that supposed to be Obi-Wan and Luke? It's very interesting art. Art of Star Wars. Landscape fiction paintings. Concept poster for Star Wars theatric poster, but didn't do a completed poster because of the unrelated legal issue, because of an unrelated legal issue. Oh, so that's kind of like a beta or even alpha test. And then this is obviously Lando and Luke playing some cards. You got Jawa with a spanner. Battle of Endor. ATST. Chicken Walker. Got a guy's face. Nice Lando Calrissian. Medical droid. I wonder if this is supposed to be Luke's hand. Some more Ewoks. Very stylized artwork with those. And another Leia in a bikini. Can't go wrong with that. I know Carrie Fisher passed away not too many years ago, but I gotta say, Leia in the metal bikini was one of my first crushes. I remember enjoying very much Return of the Jedi for the scenes where she's running around in that gold bikini as a child. even as an adult, she was a very, very attractive young woman at that point. And she, I hate it. The part in the movie, the newer movies where she gets thrown out into space and then like floats back into this, the ship. It just, I don't get it. It doesn't look good to me. It's not that I care that much that it was done. It just doesn't look good. Like, if you're going to do something like that, you have to take a step back. Like, look at all of these art cards. A lot of these are concept cards or cards people were commissioned to do, like, or art people were commissioned to do that didn't make it into movie posters, didn't make it into certain products. But you can see there's so many iterations. Like, I cannot believe that they did that for the scene where she goes into space and gets flies back in. It just looks silly. You know, like, even with some of the not original, but the prequel movies, you know, Phantom Menace, I remember when those came out, it was another, like, cultural event. People went out. I really do enjoy those movies. I just, in fact, like, the other day watched the Phantom Menace with my brother and my girlfriend. It was the first time watching it, so I fanboyed out a little bit in some parts. But I remember going to the movie theater. I remember people dressing up, and, like, people really enjoyed it. People talked about it. People debated it. For the new movies, I just hear nothing but bad things. People really just don't care for it. Land Speeder, which is kind of a bummer, because I think that would have been, like, a uniting, I guess, franchise through many ages. It goes from the 70s to the 2020s. Like, that's so long. Sad to see it kind of disintegrate the hands of people who didn't take their time with it. That's really cool. Death Star, Stormtroopers, Vader. That's another. It says highly stylized, even on the back. Very, very stylized. We got Han Solo. Which, yeah, like that. The Han Solo thing. I'd never watched the Han Solo movie all the way through. I've seen bits and pieces. It's been on televisions when I'm around. And it doesn't appeal to me all that much. Like, it doesn't expand on the mystery in a meaningful way. In fact, it seems to be limiting the mystery in the way that it's giving an explanation and a backstory that I don't know anybody who was asking for. You know, it's not that I don't want there to be an interesting movie. I just think at some point, maybe you have to go, you can't inject stories inside the timeline where the movies exist. Or maybe, like Rogue One, which I do think is a very good movie, you have to build the universe and put more characters in instead of trying to expand on stuff. Like, I think leaving some of the mystery to these movies has got to be a point for Disney. Like, they have to do that. You can't just explain everything away. People want to make stories in their minds when they play with these toys when they're little. I know I did. So why sit there and just give ultimate answers that are kind of unfulfilling in the end? I digress. I will stop complaining. I will start merely enjoying these. That is a cool card. That is a really cool card. Lakenshire Boulevard. What is this? Well, most businesses might send trapped. Oh, so this was an artist. When he moved his studio, he made this piece of art to show that he was moving. Interesting. See, that's really cool. All right. So I see that I'm at 20 minutes in, and this thing is taking a while. I'm going to open up one more, and then I'll end here. And I'll make this a multiple-parter, because I feel like people are going to very much lose focus and just click off. And I don't want to kind of do an injustice to these cards that are so old and just bore people to death while I complain about Star Wars. Apologies again. You got a nice, cool Lando Calrissian. You got Han Solo and Carbonite again. The third of these, I believe. These are actually in pretty good condition for the age of the cards. Leia in that bikini. Happy birthday, C-3PO. No, yeah, C-3. No, I guess it's happy birthday, R2-D2. A strange looking Yoda. And the Italian poster again. I don't know what that's supposed to be. And I believe we had the same land speeder. So let's go through. I think the coolest card so far is actually this. I enjoy kind of that heavy-handed art, almost like brutal, like imposing art. You gotta enjoy the R2-D2. And where is she? I kind of like the Leia. Tell me what you think. This has been Chasing Greater Gems. Until next time.